Alright guys, so I'm going to show you my leopard geckos as of right now. This one right here is Shanthi. She is a hyperxanthic leopard gecko. She's also a trimper albino, at least she was, that's what the breeder told me. And she is also the first animal I've ever bought at the expo. When I went in, first booth that I saw was leopard geckos, and I was looking for leopard geckos. I found her, and I just kind of fell in love. She has this amazing pattern on her back. She's pretty calm for the most part. And yeah, she's grown a little bit since I've got her. I got her in February, so I've had her a couple months now. She's been doing pretty good. I've been keeping her mainly on mealworms and waxworms, and you may be able to notice her tail isn't the thickest. It's actually quite thin. I'm assuming it might be nutritional issues. I think within a couple weeks, and maybe some conversations with my mom, I might start breeding some doobie roaches. That might help her out a bit. I know many people don't recommend mealworms as a staple diet for leopard geckos, but I'm not sure, to be honest, because I have another one over here, I'll show you in a minute, who is doing just fine on them. But maybe she just needs something a little different, and I don't mind having to give her that, because she is just great. So this leopard gecko right here is Eos. She is a Sunglow Trimper albino. She's also mainly on mealworms, and her tail is just absolutely incredible. Nice, big, fat. She's actually grown a lot. When I first had both her and Shanthi, I had them in a 10-gallon tank together. They seemed to do just fine, and then they ended up fighting. And she had this really nasty scar, but with a couple sheds later, you can't even notice it. So I have separated them since, and she's been doing great. She's put on a lot of weight. She's doing pretty good. She's actually passed Shanthi in weight. She's a lot more active, but also a lot more skittish. I need to work with her a little more. Every time she kind of wanders out of her hide a lot, but the second she sees me, just runs right back in. And yeah, she's doing, I guess, a lot better in terms of weight and growth. She's grown a lot. She was actually smaller than Shanthi when I got her, but she's actually now heavier than her. And she does have an issue with her eye right now, where she wakes up, sometimes her eye is kind of shut. And that's kind of worried me. It's only happened the last few days. It's kind of on and off, so I think I'm gonna... well, I did some research into it, and it might be a parasite, it could be a vitamin deficiency, and it could also be just, you know, an eye infection or whatever. So I'm gonna try to feed her a little more vitamins in her next couple meals, and I'm gonna buy some eye wash. I was reading that you can use eye wash to help clean out an eye if it is just an infection or something stuck in there. But it's her right eye that's really the issue. The left eye's perfectly fine. Right now they're both open just fine. I'm kind of just, you know, worried about her is all. But yeah, she seems to be doing pretty good. That's a good sized tail. And lastly, Eos is also a female. So those two I both bought at the White Plains Reptile Expo on the same trip. I saw them both, and they're both at different booths, but they're both absolutely stunning. And once I bought Shanthi, I wasn't exactly sure which morph I wanted to go with, but once I saw Shanthi, I just decided to kind of stick with that Tremper theme going on. I know the other albino traits don't exactly mix well, so I'm just sticking with Tremper for right now. So this guy right here is Aries. If you haven't noticed, they all have Greek themed names. Aries over here is considerably smaller. His tail is pretty thin. I got him like this. But I have no doubt that he's incredibly healthy. He doesn't weigh all that much. He weighs, I think, close to 15 grams less than the other girls. But he is absolutely personable. I love him so much. My father's actually taking quite the liking to him. My dad will walk over to his cage and stick his hand out for him, and he actually just climbs right on. So my dad loves that about him. He's also a Tremper albino, and he's also a striped. I'm not sure you can see that so well, but there's a stripe going right down his back. And he just has this absolutely beautiful tail. Maybe if I can just get a close-up on that. Where the stripe just kind of goes all the way through. It kind of blends into like the stripe kind of continues all the way to the base, where he has the last little dot. And then the orange kind of takes over, and then the stripe kind of continues. But he is absolutely beautiful. I hope to be breeding them by next spring. I wanted to buy them young so I can have an understanding of how they are when they are this small. But I'll get them to size, no problem, by next spring. It shouldn't be an issue at all. And he's kind of a trouble eater. He didn't really like the mealworms at first. I'm not sure he realized they were in the dish. But I kind of got him eating them more. Same thing goes, if I can convince my mother to get dubia roaches and breed them, I have no issue feeding all my leopard geckos dubia roaches as a staple diet. But if not, I'll probably just have to stick with crickets. It's a little more expensive having to buy them. I don't want to breed them. Last thing I need is, a bunch escaping. And they are quite expensive when you have to buy them so often. I know you can get the the value at Reptile Expo, buy a bunch for like $20, but I'm not willing to do that because, again, I need a place to house all those crickets. A bunch of them are probably gonna die, and they're gonna cause a huge stink, which is probably the biggest issue my mom had with these guys, or allowing me to have them. She was worried that they were all gonna smell really bad. But I've been keeping up with the cleaning, changing their substrate, which is just paper towel at this point. I might switch them to something else, but they're kind of young, and you read a lot about impaction, so I'm just sticking to paper towel right now. But yeah, these are my leopard geckos. I have one more. His name is Blue. He is quite old. He's 16 years old. I did get him from I worked at a pet chain store, and a customer did come in. She was moving to England, and she couldn't take the gecko with her, so I kind of took him on. He was my first reptile. I'm not gonna get him right now. He's in the basement with my brother. I'm probably gonna end up moving him up soon to my room where all my other reptiles are, so I can just monitor him a little better. But I don't want to disturb him right now. He's kind of old. but he's still a really nice guy. But I have no plans on breeding him at all. And he wasn't the best taken care of either, so he's not the healthiest of geckos, but clearly he did well enough to survive 16 years. So yeah, these are my leopard geckos as of right now. I don't really plan on getting all that many more. My room's getting tight enough as it is. I have some other plans with other reptiles, but for now I'm going to stick with this trio, see how it goes. If it goes well, I might end up buying some more. And yeah, thanks for watching.